All right, so come to the back of your mat, separate your feet. You're gonna start in a standing position. I see my mom like down in child's pose taking a nap. But come stand up. Oh, good, Lauren, you got in. Perfect. Awesome. Back of the mat, have blocks at the top just in case you need them. Feet separate about hips width distance and forward fold. Bend your knees a lot. And you can kind of cup your fingertips underneath your shoulders. That feels pretty good. I'll show you what I mean. So the fingertips kind of cup and the knees bend and the head hangs. Just like this. And then really let your head go. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale, lift your hips up, move the weight forward into the balls of your feet. And see if you can let your body kind of get real heavy into the floor. So you begin to drop down. Yeah. Perfect. Connect to your breathing. Yeah, bend your knees even more. Yeah, like make a shelf for your stomach to rest on. There's no reason to struggle. If having the fingertips cupped to the floor doesn't feel good, you can just grab opposite elbow and kind of hang like a rag doll. Good. Pick up your toes, spread them wide, and feel the padded part of your foot press down. Draw the navel, the belly into the back of the spine. Breathe your hips up and let your spine melt down. If you did ragdoll the arms, you can just switch the grip. It's always good to do both sides. Let the elbows fall really heavy to the ground. And breathe some life into the back sides of the legs. For a lot of us, it really becomes almost just like a meditation, like a meditation seat where you're seated and you don't feel comfortable. This pose can bring up the same type of stuff. So just breathe through the sensation. Just a few more breaths. So the trick is to see if you can kind of quiet the mind in the moment where your body is yelling, ah, I'm on fire, right? Let your hands drop down. Plug your feet into the mat. Get your palms flat to the ground. And very slowly, I know we're all in a rush always, start to walk out to your first down dog. And really pay attention to the backside, the legs, and see if you can keep them really mounted down. Obviously, when you get to your final position of down dog, the heels probably are going to lift up a little bit. That's okay. You may even need to bend behind your knees. And then take a couple moments to kind of wiggle out your down dog to find what works this morning. And it's always funny. We're so used to like stepping back into down dog. It's funny when you crawl into down dog the opposite direction. It feels a little different. So be okay with the subtle changes in the practice. Sometimes you love them, sometimes you hate them. Sometimes you feel indifferent. Let your shoulders move away from you. And if you're not really sure what I mean by that, think about the space between your neck and your shoulder blade and kind of pull that apart. And then there's a wrapping in of your outer arms. So the goal in the down dog, besides, opening up the back side of the body, letting the head relax, is to really begin to rely on the arms, the muscles, not the joints to hold you up. Let your head just be soft. And find a moment of stillness for yourself. And I know for a lot of that can be a challenge. Fix your eyes on something that's not moving. Plug down to begin to feel a little more. Thumb, the index finger, the baby finger. Perfect. A few more. Roll forward to your first plank position. From down dog to plank, the body aligns very nicely and you begin to stack your shoulders over elbows, elbows over wrists, your drishti, your gaze moves forward to the front edge of the mat. If you're like me, I modify my plank so the knees can just drop down. This is a great way to take it. Plank position, either way you choose to take it, you want to breathe your chest through your body. Feel the outer arms begin to grip in, spread the palms wide, draw the belly to the back of the spine and firm up. Lengthen from the crown of the head all the way through your heels. So there's this wrapping energy. And then just breathe. Begin to feel your body as it supports itself. And if you need the extra support, you drop your knees. It's totally fine. These look good. Ride out the exhale breath and stay in the pose a little bit longer. Take another giant breath in. Hips up and back, down dog. See if you can keep your arms straight when you do it. From this downward facing dog, once again, roll forward plank like an ocean wave. Bring your weight all the way forward. You want to lengthen your tailbone. Fix your eyes on something that's not moving. Keep the eyes fixed, lower halfway to a chaturanga, or you just can hold supported plank if you prefer. Chaturanga, your elbows slide right by your side body. You're in a chaturanga. Thumb and index finger press firm. You're still in a chaturanga push-up position. Lead with your heart and chest for your first up dog or baby cobra. If the lower back is sensitive, you drop down and you take baby cobra. From your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. So your vinyasas are kind of up to you, how much you want to do. You can add extra push-ups. You can skip them and just work from a down dog this morning. But one more, let's take together. Roll forward plank position. Drop your knees if you need support, totally fine. Bend your elbows in half to a chaturanga. I'm taking a baby push-up, just a micro movement. Drag your chest through your up dog, point your toes, activate your legs. You can look up a little with your eyes, but avoid dropping the neck back. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. Allow yourself to just arrive into the practice this morning. Look to the top of the mat. 2 big steps to get there. 1, 2, maybe it's not so graceful. Long spine, hands can just rest on your shins. Keep the weight forward into the balls of the feet. That's what we're looking for. Exhale, fold in half. Try that again. Long spine, prepare, create some space. Weight stays forward. Exhale, fold again in half. Let the head go. Root to rise, come all the way up. Slide the arms up, look up a little. Drag your hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms and just stand still for a moment. Look forward with your eyes. Yes. Now, your feet can be hips width distance apart, or they can be together. You can kind of pick what works. I'm glad you made it, Amy. Yep, just stand up nice and tall. Here we go. Slide the arms straight up towards the sky. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare yourself. Plant your palms. Take 2 big steps back to the back of the mat. Position. From here, decide what you need. Chaturanga, no push-up, whatever you're taking. Pull yourself through a smooth upward facing so you're not jamming into the low back. The legs are strong. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. So the goal is to link movement with breath in this practice this morning. Look to the top of the mat. Take 2 big steps. We're not quite ready to hop yet. Just step, step. We may maybe never be ready to hop. Long spine, weight is forward. Exhale, fold into yourself. Root to rise, come all the way up. Feel your feet mount you down. Energetically reach. Drag your hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Again, arms sweep straight up towards the sky. Look up with your eyes. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Your weight carries you forward. Long side spine to prepare yourself. You look forward. Plant your palms. You can step, step. If you feel the need to jump, you're jumping into a low push-up chaturanga. If not, it's just a step, and then you lower halfway. Pull yourself through your version of up dog. Activate your legs. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold again. Root to rise, come all the way up, anchor. Drag the hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Let's keep it moving clean and crisp. Arms reach up. Dive again over bent knees, forward fold. Let the head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare you. Step or float through your vinyasa. So whatever you're looking for this morning, it's here for you. Upward facing. Hips up and back, Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. Roll forward to plank position. Pause. Hug your right knee towards your navel. So you can stay in the plank. I'm nursing this little shoulder thing, so I'm going to pull my hips up a little higher and take myself out of that a little bit. So you're welcome to play around with these little alternative ways. If not, you're in plank, drawing your knee to your navel. If you want a little less effort in the upper body, you're in more of a down dog. The right knee is still drawing in. There's still an activation of your core. Yeah, and there's a squeezing of your belly to the back of the spine. Look forward with your eyes and land your right foot all the way forward and through into a low lunge. Pause. So walk the right foot a little to the right, activate the back left leg. You can always drop the knee if you're feeling a little like, I need a little extra help today. Back leg strong. Come to your fingertips. Reach your arms forward like you're handing a block to someone, like you're anchoring and reaching forward, and pause. Your eyes are fixed to the front edge of your mat. Good. Flip the palms down as they face towards the ground. Activate and squeeze inner and outer thighs and the hamstring and the glute very tight. Slide the arms back like you're doing a lat pull down. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze together and hold. Keep the neck nice and neutral. So the palms face down. You're squeezing your shoulder blades together and you're hovering, everybody. So you're not completely upright. You're hovering. You're almost resting on your right thigh. Grip your right hip in. Good. Slide the arms back forward and pause. Fire up the sides of the tricep, draw the belly in. Slide the arms back into a lat pull down type motion and hold. There's a squeezing of the shoulder blades. One more time, slide the arms forward, don't be in such a rush. Slow motion, squeeze the arms back, squeeze the shoulder blades. With your arms like this, begin to bring the torso up. So your arms are cactus, and then they slide up towards the sky, high lunge, crescent lunge. Fix the eyes on something that's not moving. Draw the lower belly in and up. Get out of your lower back, so move your hip points up and forward. Feel the weight in the standing right heel. Let the right thigh slide back into the hip socket and squeeze the muscles around the back left kneecap very tight. So the firing up the thigh. Pause. Just you and your breath on your mat right here. Hands come down to frame the front foot. You're welcome to reach for blocks, but you're going to pop your back left leg up into a standing split. So the blocks would line up with your right toes and the head will fall to the ground. The left thigh lifts up, only hip height. You drape your torso over the front of the thigh and soften the shoulders away from your ears. You can bend your standing right leg as much as you need. Draw the belly to the front right thigh and hold. Good. Come to the fingertips, long spine or hands stay on the blocks. You're going to take a giant step back, but turn the back foot and set up for a low setup for warrior one. Don't pop up. Back foot turns on an angle, arms reach back like a set of airplane wings. Steer the right hip under you, activate the back left thigh, and then root to rise, warrior one. There's a gripping in of your right hip, a steering of your left ribs forward. And then I like to look, if you have molding, that's a good spot. That's kind of like a good dristy. Just remind yourself to not drop your neck back. Steer the feet into the mat, and then the hips can kind of move a little bit more forward to the front edge of the mat. Another big breath in. I know it's hard to hold in these moments. We want to just go. Hands come down, vinyasa, or just right to a dog. You decide what you need. So you could take 7 push-ups in between, or you can just hold down dog. Roll forward to plank. Hug your left knee in. So once again, if you want to work a little less in the upper body, you can come a little higher with your hips. You're going to get the same goal. Hug the left knee in. Squeeze the belly to the back of the spine. Back leg is strong. Look forward with your eyes. Land your left foot all the way forward and through. Big step. Pause for a second. Get your feet set. Make sure it's a wide enough and long enough stance. Good. So grip your left hip in, fire up your back leg, and just slide your arms forward. So if you get here and you're like, this sucks, I don't want to hover like this, drop your knee. There's always an option to do a little less. So you're just hovering here. Your neck is neutral, your spine is nice and long, your back leg is engaged. It's like a plank position. and you feel like you're going to launch off. Flip the palms down, pause. Very slowly begin to bring your arms back like a lat pull down. There's a squeezing of the shoulder blades, hold. Steering of your left hip under you, back right leg strong. Slide the arms forward, do it in slow motion. Again, hug the arms back, like a little lat pull down, cactus the arms, pause. Slide the arms forward, like you're moving in slow-mo. One more time, slide the arms back, pause. From your hip point, start to lift your torso, so your arms are kind of in these cactus arms, back leg strong, and then slide the arms up, high lunge. Good. You can always soften your back knee because that's going to help you get your hip points forward. Drive the left thigh kind of down into the mat. And then from the back, right hamstring is where you want to really fire it up. We collect ourselves. So no angry yoga this morning, happy yoga. Right, you back out if it's too much. You add more if you need more. Couple more, stay with me. Draw the belly in, hip points move forward. Hands come down to frame your front foot. If you need those blocks, slide them next to your toes and pop your right leg up, hip height, let your head go. Standing split. You can bend behind the standing left leg as much as you need. Lift from your inner right thigh, don't open the hips, let the head fall, soften the shoulders. Steer the belly over the front left thigh the best that you can. Come to the fingertips to prepare the long spine. Take a giant step back into a low warrior one setup. Don't pop up. So turn your back foot on a strong angle and then sweep your arms back. So now you're hovering. Steer your left hip kind of under you and your right thigh forward. Press through the feet and the legs and then come up, warrior one. Here we go. Sometimes when you come up this way, you have a little bit more space to slide your left foot forward. The goal is to have the whole torso facing the front edge of the mat. Use the outer blade of your back foot, anchor, and then look up a little with your eyes. Take another giant breath in, patience. Bring it to the floor through a vinyasa or right to a dog, whatever you wish. Take a deep breath in. Take a complete exhale, breath out. Look where you want to go. Step or float your feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold over yourself. Sit into chair. Weight moves into your heels. Guys, try this. Turn the palms forward like you're pressing your hands against the wall and cactus the arms in chair. And if you need to separate your feet so they're more hip width distance, that's totally doable. There's a squeezing of the shoulder blades. Good, your neck is neutral. So your arms are cactused in this pose. You're sitting in chair. Slide the arms back up towards the sky, and then with that energetic force, press to stand, draw the hands to prayer, drop your arms. Let's put it all together with some excitement. Sit deeply into chair. If you like the cactus arms, you're welcome to add that. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare yourself. Step or float through a vinyasa or not. Up dog is smooth, so you're not jamming. And then your arms stay straight and your hips move for your downward facing. From here, your right foot lands, your back foot turns, warrior one. Bring it to the floor on your own count. You're kind of moving on breath to breath now. Vinyasa or not. Yeah, nice and smooth, guys. Left foot lands, back foot turns. So it's not a struggle. Warrior one. Bring it back down on your own count through a vinyasa if you're into it. Downward facing dog is where we all meet. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Look to the top, step or float once again. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold into yourself. Sit again into a chair. Weight moves into your heels. If you like the cactus arms, play with it. Press up to a standing position. Draw it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Here we go. Keep it moving. Chair pose from the top of the mat. Good. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare, step or float through a vinyasa. Up dog is smooth, anchored through the tops of the feet. Hips up and back, downward facing. Smooth operation, right foot forward, back foot turns, warrior one. Back down you go through a vinyasa. Be okay with doing a little less. Nothing bad will happen. It's okay. Upward facing, no jerking movements, downward facing. Left foot lands, back foot turns, warrior one. Back down we go through a vinyasa or right to a dog, and that's a great opportunity just to reset. Looks good. It's funny, like everyone's like box, everyone looks so zen. I have no idea what's really going on the other side, but you look zen, so that's cool. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top or roll. Some days I feel like I just need to roll. Long spine, fold in half, sit deeply into chair. It's like some days you feel so graceful and beautiful, and other days you're just like, oh God. Press to stand, hands to prayer, top of the mat. Drop your arms. Here we go. Slide the arms up, sit again into chair. So in your chair, stick your butt way back, guys, and move the weight into your heels. You're really gonna feel that action. And then dive with that movement over bent legs, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, prepare, step or float to your vinyasa. Up dog, legs are strong. You press with the tops of the feet and the hands. Hips up and back, downward facing. Right foot forward, back foot turns, warrior one. Moving and grooving here. Bring it back down to the floor, vinyasa. Upward facing. Hips up and back, downward facing. Left foot forward, back foot turns, warrior one. Back down to the floor through a vinyasa. Upward facing dog, point your toes. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. We're just going to do one more. Look to the top, step or float to arrive. Long spine, fold in half, sit deep into chair. Press up to a standing position, draw to prayer, drop your arms. Arms slide up, sit again into chair. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let the head go. Come to the fingertips, prepare you, step or float, chaturanga. Up dog, legs are strong. Hips up and back, downward facing. One more time today, right foot forward, back foot turns, warrior one. Make it feel great. Back down we go. You're welcome to just step to a dog. Step the left foot forward when you are ready. Back foot turns, warrior one, there's no rush. Back down to the floor you move. Meet me in a downward facing dog. And pause in your down dog. Good. In this down dog, breathe your right leg up only hip height. So notice what happens when you do this. So you kind of want to drop all the weight into the left side. The goal here is to keep your shoulders squared, grip your left hip in strong, and fire up your right thigh and glute. Flex the foot. Just breathe the leg up a little higher. Let the head be free. Good. Point your right toes if you can. You're going to slide into a plank and drag your right knee towards your left tricep. So once again, if you're not going all the way to plank, keep your hips up a little higher. So you're making this cross action. So your right leg is moving to the left inner arm, but you're not taking your hips and kind of moving them too much. It's more of an oblique exercise. Keep that action. You're going into a fallen triangle. So the right leg's going to go out at an angle. The left arm's going to open. If you need to modify, your knee can just drop down. You can do it like this as well. So it's a version of side plank, but your legs are split apart. You got it. Beautiful, Allison. Stay with it. Stay with the breath. Good. Look to the floor. As you come out of the pose, both hands come down, hug the knee back into the center. So draw the belly in and then step your right foot smack in between your hands. Turn your back foot strong. Circle open warrior two. Coming up into a big warrior two. Look at your feet. Sometimes the feet have traveled. So make sure your right foot is forward and it intersects the back of your left arch. Arms reach out in opposite directions. Right thigh, really important. Let it wrap open. Activate your back leg and make sure it's on a little angle. Side ribs straight up and down. Arms open nice and wide. Play with your hand position. Like the palms can face up. The palms can face forward like this with the thumbs up, or the very traditional way with the hands down. I kind of like palms forward or palms up. It just feels really nice for the shoulders. Close your eyes and breathe. As you hold the posture, lengthen your tailbone. Think of it about a squat pose and dropping your tailbone straight down. Breathe your left shoulder blade more open and give your back arm just a tiny bit more love. Sometimes you kind of lag. Stay with me. Warrior two. You're still in warrior two. Feel the feet. Energetically ground yourself. And then look forward and start to reach out with your right hand and rest your arm on the top of the thigh or slide your hand to the outside of the foot. You go outside a foot, you can use a block, any angle. Left arm can reach straight up. Arm can rest on the top of the thigh. This is a great alternative. Grip your right hip under you. Left arm can wrap forward or be straight up. Hand can also be on your hip. Yeah, if you want to add a half bind, you're welcome to. Make the posture work. Make it feel good. Keep the neck nice and neutral. The biggest thing in this pose is creating a little bit of space between your right ribs and your right thigh. Gripping your right hip and glute because there's a tendency to kind of steer out. Hug it underneath you. Turn the upper torso and see if you can move your energy, your eyes up. Stay with your breath. And as things start to heat up, just breathe a little more. It didn't freeze. We're still holding. Look down, float up to a half moon. So just move your block any direction out in front of you, over to the right a little. Left arm can extend straight up towards the sky. Make sure that your right foot hasn't turned and your hip is gripping in strong. The left hand can stay on your hip. The arm can rest alongside the body. You can lean up against a wall. Anything goes. Find a version of half moon that feels good in your body this morning. Keeping your right foot forward is the goal. Hugging your right hip in strong like Tadasana and finding space alongside your body is what we're going for. Lift from your inner left thigh. And the imperfections of this pose kind of make it interesting. So when you fall out, you wiggle, you shake. That's what's creating the real practice. Stay in the posture a little longer. Look to the floor, square your hips off, listen carefully, come to a cup fingertips if you can. Slide your left foot in front of your right. So you're crisscrossing your ankles, guys. Crisscrossing your left foot in front of your right. Your baby toes are together, your heels are split apart. Cup the fingertips or slide blocks underneath your hands. It depends on your flexibility. Inhale the breath, exhale, fold. Let the head go. Yes, you're essentially in a standing forward fold, but your feet are crisscrossed at the shins. Exactly. And I can imagine what's going through everyone's heads right now. Breathe, bend behind your knees and lift your hips up. Play with where your hands need to be so you can really find the stretch. So you may need to walk them a little one direction or walk them a little another direction. Everyone's bodies are a little different. So no one's going to feel exactly the same thing. Yes, you got to play a little on your mat, be willing to. Yeah. If you're sliding your hands, you're kind of creeping around. Just make sure your hips aren't moving too much. 2 more breaths. Pop up to neutral with your hands are just down underneath your shoulders. So just come to center. Slide your left foot right next to your right, and then sit into chair. Sit deep into chair. Bring the hands to a prayer at heart. Inhale the breath, hook the elbow, and twist to the right. Yeah, if lower back, upper thoracic, anything's going on in the spine, you're welcome to stay very upright and just kind of do an air twist, keeping the lower half of the body very engaged and really just working on today's alignment. If you're getting in there, hook the elbow, maybe even open up the arms, but watch that the knees stay lined up. The weight stays in your heels, the shins move back, the crown of the head moves forward. And it's one of those poses, it's kind of the nitty gritty, you gotta get in there. Stay with it, just you and your breath in these final moments of this chair twist. Strong legs, pull around to chair. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let the head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare. You can step, you can float, you can crawl through a vinyasa. Meet me in a downward facing dog. Just clear it out. When you get to your down dog, get yourself together and breathe your left leg up, hip height, only hip height. Grip your right hip in strong, plug down evenly through both your arms. Draw the navel in, point your left toes, start to slide forward to a plank and draw your left knee to the inside of your right arm. You can be up a little higher if it's too intense. So you're crisscrossing here, your left knee to the inside of your right arm. And then look to the right and slide your left leg forward and peel your right arm open. Yes, you're in a version of side plank where your legs are split apart. If this does not work for you, yep, side plank. Go side plank with the legs split apart, Amy. I know you're excited to do that extended side angle. Yeah. You could modify your side plank. You could think about side plank. You can curse at side plank. Allison's like, I'm cursing at side plank. Okay. Nice. Look down, place both hands down first. Square your hips and then hug your knees straight into the center line. You kind of have to even out the pelvis here. Yeah, wrap the sides of your triceps in and then step your left foot all the way forward and through. Turn your back foot on a strong angle and cartwheel open. Warrior two. Take a moment to set up your warrior two. Nice big step, nice big stance, lengthen the tailbone. Move the thigh open. Sometimes you even need a hand adjustment to kind of remind yourself. Left thigh needs to turn open, tailbone drops long. And then once you kind of found your spot for today, just focus on the feeling of that spot and your breath. You may even want to close your eyes. Give a little bit more attention to your back arm. Breathe that right shoulder blade open. Sometimes that helps us out. Lengthen the tailbone down a little more. Ride out the exhale breath. You got a couple more. The eyes shut, blink them open. Look towards the left hand. Begin to lean out and rest your arm on the top of the thigh or slide a block to the outside of the foot, any direction. Top arm can wrap forward. It could be straight up towards the sky. Grip your left hip in strong. You have to really make sure that your back toes have a little angle to them, because if the foot is turned open or completely parallel to the edge of the mat, it's going to be hard to get that action of the side body. Yeah, and that left hip glute, oof, it's rough, I know. Tuck it underneath you and turn the whole torso open a little and look up. Three more breaths. I know you didn't want to hear it, but 3 more. If the arm wrapped forward, reach it up, look down, and see if you can seamlessly float up into a half moon. So for this side, I'm actually going to go against my Glass door. If you're on a balcony, definitely don't do this. Yeah. I'm going to lean against the wall. This is a great thing to know how to do. Takes all the pressure off. Hand could be on hip. But focus on the standing left leg. Yeah. Nice. And if you fall out, it's just part of the process. Less struggle, and you just restart. Lift from your inner right thigh a little bit more, and then see if that can get you to kind of create more of a dimension of the side body opening. 2 more breaths. Good. So you're going to look down. Right hand comes to the floor, square your hips, so the fingertips kind of cup, and then slide your right shin in front of your left, crisscross your ankles. You're in the standing forward fold, the top of the mat. Cup the fingertips, and then bend behind your knees and fold. So fold in half here, let the head go. You may or may not need blocks underneath your hands. You want to keep your hips even over your heels. Yes. You want to keep the weight forward into the balls of the feet. Yeah, and then play with the hand splay. Like some of you may need to go a little to the right with the fingertips. Yeah, a little to the left with the fingertips. This one gets you good. Yeah. Let your head, your shoulders, everything just drop. Good. Come to neutral with your hands. Just come to the center. Unravel your feet so they just line up side by side, and sit one more time here into a nice chair. Slide the hands to prayer. Inhale the breath, hook the elbow and twist. You can air twist. So really focus on strong legs if you're air twisting like me. Yeah. If you get in there and you hook the elbow, you're also welcome to open up your arms. Yeah. Keep the weight in your heels, shins moving back, crown of the head moving forward. It's all about the alignment, keeping ourselves together. Proper alignment is the goal. Stay with it. Weight in your heels, strong legs, pull yourself around to chair. Good. Press all the way up to a standing position, drag your hands to prayer at heart, drop your arms. Just stay as you are. I'll turn towards you so you can see better. You could separate your feet hips with distance. It may help with balance. Draw your right knee up, grab below the kneecap, just like this, left hand on hip. I always like to start basic. You never know what your body is going to give you on a day-to-day basis. So no judgment, do what you can. If you can reach down and grab your big toe, you're going to toe hook. If not, you're going to stay like me. If you can breathe your right leg forward, kick your right leg forward, left arm can drift up. Good. Pelvis is neutral. So if you're breathing your right leg forward and you're toe hooked, yes. Lengthen the tailbone, activate the left side of the body. The growth happens from the left side. You have to soften your right hip. Stand up as tall as you can. If you have a toe hook, rebend the leg. So come back where we are. Both arms are going to come up for a moment. So you're floating your right leg up, hip height at a 90-degree angle, and your arms are up. You're grounding the left leg. Good. You're going to take your right leg without using your hands and cross it over your left thigh like this. Make a figure 4. My arms are still riding up. My tailbone is lengthening down. Without using the hands, I'm going to try and start to sit back into a chair. Really sitting into chair, chair, chair. Sitting deep into chair, activating my right foot and dropping my right thigh to the ground. My arms are now going to slide back like a set of airplane wings. And I'm dropping down. At this point, you can reach your hands directly to the floor and start to work on a deeper version of ankle to knee or flying pigeon. If you'd like to go into the arm balance, think about the backs of your triceps and the front of your right shin, making that connection. That's the ledge. Nice, Dara. If not, you're just staying like I am, hovering or the hands can rest on something, and you can really focus on bending into that standing left leg and steering your hips back evenly. If you're flying, you can lower the foot down, come back to a version that we're in. Now, listen carefully. At the same time, bring your hands to your hips, pull your torso up, and lower the right foot to the floor. Stand tall. Just feel that for a second. Yeah. Right leg strong unless you mixed up the legs. Draw the left knee in, grab below the kneecap, right hand on your hip. So there's as much or as little as you need. If you can grab your big toe with a peace sign grip, make sure the toe comes to you and you don't bend for it. Right arm's going to extend up. Left leg can extend forward. Breathe your left thigh bone back, your left hip kind of soften it, and your right thigh back. Reach the right arm up. Lengthen the tailbone. Fix your eyes on something that's not moving. And just get still in the pose. Wherever you've chosen to be is right for you today. If you toe hooked, bend the leg the way you got in. Rebend the leg so you meet us. Arms reach up. Everybody arms up. The leg is floating at a 90-degree angle. Flex the foot. So don't get sad with the left leg. Keep it up nice and high, hip height. Keep reaching the arms up. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh, just like this. Good. Without using your hands, if you can, start to move your seat back. Stick your butt way back, way back, way back. Activate your left foot. Drop the thigh open. Then sweep your arms back like you're flying. Keep bending into the standing right leg and heel. Stay here. Drop your arms down. You can work deeper into the ankle to knee, resting your hands on something, or flying version of pigeon. Just meditate on whatever it is that you're doing, a few breaths. Grip your right hip in strong wherever you've chosen to be and steer your left hip back more. Nice work. If you're flying, lower the foot, meet us back somewhere. Everybody at the same time, hands to your hips. Pull your torso up. I know it gets tricky. Lower your left foot to the ground, stand tall. Just stand at the top of the mat for a moment. Take a giant breath in, bring your feet together, slide the arms straight up towards the sky, dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips, prepare, step or float through your vinyasa. Stay with me, guys, we're almost there. Up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing. Step your right foot forward, crescent lunge. Come on up. Hands come to prayer at heart. Lean out in front of you a little, hook the elbow and twist. It's another one if lower back is sensitive. You're welcome to stay upright and twist. Activate your back leg, scissor the inner and outer thighs together. Soften your right shoulder. Jody P. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Jody M. I'm really down with staying upright, like really upright, and just working the lower half of the body, creating that thoracic twist. You're getting the same thing that you would get if you're hooking, but we're not putting that pressure on that lower lumbar. Amy, just make sure your stance isn't too narrow. Yeah, you may need to walk your right foot. It may just be the camera to the right a little. That may be a little bit more forgiving. Stay with me, guys. There's some little friends on the mat. Yeah. Stay with it. You look like you're about ready to get out. Reading the energy of your blocks, your little blocks. Look down to the floor, place both hands down to the ground. Pause. Okay, you may want to drop your knee for this. Everybody actually drop your knee for this to start. Walk your right foot a little bit more to the right. Bring your hands to the inside of your foot. So we're setting up for a version of lizard. Right. Now, your right leg is kind of wrapping around your right tricep. The way I like to take lizard is you can use blocks and you can slide your arms out like a down dog. So your arms go way forward, and if you elevate your hands, it's going to take a lot of pressure out of the neck and the shoulders. Your back knee may stay down. This may be enough of a stretch. What I don't want is the right leg winging out. Grip your right hip around your right arm so it tucks close to you. And then from here, activate your back leg. Definitely keep your neck neutral. 5 or 6 breaths here, hold. So your arms, keep sliding them forward. Just connect to the inhale and exhale. One more big breath in. Drop the back knee if it's not already down. Move the blocks forward and pull yourself up to this low lunge. So your fingertips are just down on the floor and your right leg's bent in half. Good. From here, you're going to ride out your exhale breath and flex your right leg and straighten your right leg. So now your left knee straight up and down and your right leg's out in front of you. Take this block with you. Take it to the instep of your right thigh knee area. Left hand's going to stay tall on this block. Right arm's going to extend up. Flex your right foot strong. Let me see how you all did with that. Yes. Okay. So you want to grip your hips in super strong. If having the top arm up doesn't feel good, your hand can be on the flat part of your back as well. Yes. Perfect. Okay. One more thing, and not everyone's going to want to do this. Stay with this or let your right toes kind of drop out a little to the right. Yeah, those of you who are dancers are probably like, oh, this feels wonderful and great. The rest of us are like, oh, this is awful. Just the toes a little to the right. It's the same posture. The toes just drop open to the right. Good. Straighten out the toes, look down. Take both hands down to the ground. Rebend the leg, curl the toes into the mat, step to a dog. Just step down dog. From your down dog, glide your left foot forward, crescent lunge. Come on up. With excitement, one more time. Arms go big. Hands to prayer. Inhale the breath, grip the hips in, hook the elbow, and turn to the left. Good. I'm showing the alternative, staying upright. There could be actually absolutely no injuries in your body, and you may still want to do this posture just because it feels better. Grip the hips in. If you're hooking, you got to lean back a little, get the crown of the head to line up with your back foot. Get a little heavier in your front leg, everybody. Good. One more big breath. Stay with it. Look down, place both hands down to the ground. Walk the left foot an inch to the left, drop the back knee, everyone. Move the blocks if you have them out in front of you. Put them on a position that's comfortable. Make your arms like a really active down dog. You can see better on this side, but I don't want my left leg winging out. I want to wrap it in so it's close to my lat. Yeah, the arms go forward. Back knee can stay down. You may be getting plenty from this. If you want more, the back knee can lift. It's a version of lizard with kind of active arms. Breathe, draw the belly in. Feel the spreading of your hands either on the ground or on the blocks. Make the connection. Outer triceps are holding you up as well. Good. If your back knee is engaged, drop the knee down to the ground, everybody. Start to walk the blocks a little bit more forward. Good. And then straighten out your right leg so it's straight up and down, and left leg's going to go strong and straight. Flex the toes. Take your block to the inside of the left leg, somewhere that works for you. Block height you can pick. Right hand down, left arm up. Listen, if you have your toes curled, your back right toes, it's going to give you a little bit more balance. Yeah. Left arm can go straight up. Your hand can go on the flat part of your back. The more you flex your left leg, the more hamstring action you're going to get, but you have to focus on both your hips. Grip them in strong, draw your belly in. If you want more in this pose, Let your left toes turn to the left like an inch or two. If the toes kind of went to the left, pull them upright, look down, both hands come down to the ground, move the blocks forward, bend the left leg in half, curl the back toes under, plant the hands down, step to a dog. One more vinyasa here. Roll forward to a plank, bend your elbows in half to a chaturanga, drag yourself through a smooth up dog, point your toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Drop to your forearms for a dolphin pose, a forearm stand. Right, or I'm gonna show you another option of an inversion. I'm gonna take my feet wide, not super wide, because you wanna fold down the center, ragdoll the arms, and drop down the center line. So something upside down right here. You can go to a wall. Yeah, you can go to a wall. You can go upside down that way. Jody, and bring your elbows in a little closer to you. Yeah. Remember, guys, with forearm stand, it's like the width of the block. Yeah. So you don't need to go upside down to have this aha moment. You can just be in a dolphin, which is basically forearm down dog. You can be folding down the center in a wide straddle. Yep, that's perfect. That's a good reminder, Allison, just to know that your shoulders are kind of set where they need to be. You can be in dolphin pose and just breathe one leg up. So if you went down the center, you could just switch the grip of the elbows. Yeah. If you're in a dolphin, you can just switch the lift of the leg. Stay for 5 more breaths, guys. Wherever you are, start to finish up. And come to a child's pose for a moment. But today's child's pose, have your knees together and your feet together and your stomach on your thighs, and just have your palms facing up with your forehead down. Just take a second here. Good. Pull yourself up, flip around, move your legs out in front of you, and lay down on your backs. So you're gonna hit the floor now. Move your blocks with you if you know you need them. Set up for bridge, supported bridge. If you feel like you wanna just go right to a wheel, you can. But just remind you, when you set up for bridge pose, feet go forward, thighs move forward, and fingertips skim the backs of your heels, such as this. You lift your tailbone up, and then from here, you start to slide either your clasp hands, you can robot your arms, you can take a block any direction and place it underneath your low back. You want to mount through your legs and feet, lift the thighs up, and then breathe through the space from your hips to the backs of your knees, from your tailbone to the backs of your knees. Good. Exhale the breath, come down. Take a breath in. If you're on a block, you can just stay. Take a breath out. Another one. Here we go. If you're ready to move on for full wheel, flip your palms, bring your chin to your chest. Take a giant breath in. And on your exhale breath, start to lift up. If you're up in a bridge and you're supported with a block, you can lift the legs up towards the sky. Do one at a time. If you're in a full wheel, turn your feet forward, your thighs forward. Stay with it. Lift a little higher. If you went up into a full wheel, exhale your breath. Start to come out. If your legs went straight up like they're up a wall, you have to bend your legs first. Take one foot, then the other foot to the ground. Next, do it slow, and then very slowly removing the block from underneath you. When your lower back hits the ground, pause for a second, and then reach for the outer blades of your feet for a happy baby. Pull the knees down around your rib cage. You're going to breathe the lower back down to the ground. So you're in a happy baby on your back. pull the knees down around the rib cage. Hug your knees to your chest. Give yourself a little energy here. Just rock and roll. Half pigeon. Here we go. Right side. So just kind of move yourself through a down dog and slide your right leg forward. We're finishing with this today, and then Shavasana. So right side, half pigeon. Make yourself comfortable. For some reason you're not into this, you can stay on your back and take ankle to knee on your back. So half pigeon at the end of the practice is kind of like little piece of heaven for most of us. Yeah. Allow yourself to just drop down into it if you can. No good? Yeah, just stay more upright then if it's too intense. Staying deep in your yoga meditation, just switch sides. Just go to the other side without really thinking too much. Through a down dog, through a tabletop. If you're on your back, you just kind of move that way. And then fold on this side. Breathe your right side down. Good. Use the strength of your body to slowly start to come up. You can almost do this with your eyes closed if you can. As you pull yourself up, swing both legs forward and just roll down onto your backs and set up for a Shavasana, complete rest. Now, if you want to take Shavasana with like a Baddha Konasana today, I'll show you what I mean. The soles of the feet can come together. Yeah. Only if this feels good. You can even slide blocks underneath the knees, which is going to take some pressure off. So the feet press together, the palms face open, and just exhale your breath and let your body just melt. So Shavasana here, I'm showing it with Supta Baddha, lower half the body. Complete rest. Take a deep breath in. Take a full deep breath out. Start to move slowly in your body. If you need more time, just ignore me and stay down. Hug your knees to your chest, give them a giant squeeze in. In your own way, in your own time, bring yourself up to a seat. Sit up really tall. Yeah, let the shoulders draw down the back. Close your eyes for a second. I'm glad we were able to do this today, guys. Hands to prayer, bow your head for a moment. Always have gratitude. Every time you get to your mat, it's important to just stop, be grateful. Lift your head, open your eyes. Namaste, as always, for those that are moms. Happy Mother's Day. Go out there, have an awesome day, and stay tuned. See you soon.